What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, August 23rd, 2017. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside my Irish cream.
How are you doing?
Danny O'Dwyer. I'm good.
I got my cup back.
You do? Yeah.
Check
it was
it
gone.
out.
I'm using the crab cup from Red Lobster.
Is that what it's from? Mm-hmm. I was wondering. I was drinking from it yesterday. I'm not going to drink from mine yet because it's too warm and I'll burn my mouth.
Smart.
We talk during the show.
That's why I've moved over to iced coffees.
Oh, nice.
I'm just dropping ice cubes in them, pouring the coffee on top.
You just do it that way?
Uh-huh.
You don't, no special cream, no special...
I don't want none of that.
No,
You're
just
the only
coffee
cream in my
and
life,
ice.
buddy. You're the only cream in my life. Don't worry about it.
Wipe me off your lips.
Every
Let's do a
morning.
show.
If you didn't know, this is Kinda Funny Games Daily each and every weekday on a variety of platforms. We run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about, getting in depth with, giving you some opinions, giving you some perspective. Then we jump in to all your reader questions, your different things you've written in, your bad PSN names, everything you want to know. If you like that, you can watch us record it live at twitch.tv/kindafunnygames.
Hello.
However, we don't look at the chat. You can only interact by going to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Tell us what we screw it up as we screw it up, so at the end of the show, we can read the list and keep the record straight.
None in there right now. We're clean.
So far, so good. You still are the only cream in my life. If you didn't know, then you could also go to youtube.com/kindafunnygames, pick it up there, or get it on podcast services around the globe. No matter where you get it, thank you so much for your support. If you want to go above and beyond, go to Patreon, support us there, or throw us your Twitch subscription. Maybe you got Amazon Prime, which means you have a free Twitch subscription.
Maybe it ran out.
Twitch Prime.
You forgot.
Every 30 days, you got to give it to somebody.
Yeah, I keep
Why
forgetting.
not? Well, yeah, it's bad. It's troublesome.
It is. I'm subscribed actually to you guys, though.
Of course.
So I give that Prime to
Thank you. You give us the real money.
Since the start.
Oh,
Day one,
guy.
baby.
What a good guy.
Scorpio edition.
I'll get you a controller with Kinda Funny Games.
With your face on it.
Right now, housekeeping party mode is up for everybody for free on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. Andy demands that you stay all the way through.
Yeah.
Because the ending is pretty fucking awesome. You can even, if you don't care about PUBG, which is weird, you don't care about us doing Let's Plays, fine. Go watch the ending. For now.
He does good work.
Let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report.
Oh, Kevin's back.
Time for some news. It feels like it's been years since we heard his voice.
I know, right?
Given the Roper Report.
I missed Joey already.
Yeah. Right now, let's see. I built this before Kinda Funny Morning Show. There are 5 items on the Roper Report.
That's nearly a baker's dozen.
Thank you, Kevin. Number 1.
Editorializing.
Yeah, exactly. Let him have some fun with it. You know what I mean? Number 1, Xbox says it is in talks with PlayStation about crossplay. Aaron Greenberg over at Gamescom was talking to Game Reactor UK and says, quote, absolutely, yeah, we're talking to Sony about crossplay. We do partner with them on Minecraft, and of course, we would like to enable them to be part of that. One community, unite gamers. So, we're talking to them, and we're hopeful that they'll be supportive of it. Gonna happen, Danny?
I don't know, like game by game basis, maybe. Like, it's such a weird thing because Microsoft, not to be crass and weird about it, Microsoft need this more than PlayStation do.
Sure.
Like they have less units sold, and there's like a threshold with a lot of games that you're in a situation with like PUBG or Rocket League, no wait times, you're in right away.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of games, especially third party games, where that's maybe not the case, and it could help them out. Their first party stuff. They can't do anything about that anyway, but I don't know. This it
really comes out of Minecraft and Rocket League, right?
Right.
Yeah, because both of those are games right now that are like play with anyone, anywhere except PlayStation.
And in the past generation, we've seen a lot of console to PC playability.
Even in this one, right? And that was what was so weird about the Rocket League stuff. Is that from basically launch, right? It was PS4 could communicate with PC.
I think pretty soon.
Yeah,
pretty
exactly. And so you could play that way. And so then when it came to Xbox, and then when it went to Switch, and they were like, great news, if you play on Switch, you can play with everybody, except PlayStation, because Right. And then Minecraft's whole thing was, for perspective on it, it got announced, you're going to be able to play with everybody. Everybody thought it was awesome. Not PlayStation. That's bullshit. Hey, PlayStation, what the hell? And then it was revealed, and not like it's a dirty pool or anything, that when you go into Minecraft on Switch and you want to connect to the online and play with everybody, if you're going to play with Xbox, you need to make an Xbox Live account.
Yes.
So you need to actually, there will be branding Xbox on that Nintendo Switch, which is weird. And to your point, PlayStation has an install base of 60 plus million units right now. They're way far ahead of Xbox.
Yeah.
They don't want that branding on there. They don't want anybody to remember Xbox exists.
They've plenty of problems. I'm sure they could spend time on, and this is not one that they need to necessarily solve for them, right? It's interesting. Like, I think there was a number of reasons why this wasn't always the case in the past. Obviously, the last generation was the first one that became where online became way more prominent, right? But like, there's a lot of like the way in which loads of different aspects of development occur would have stopped this from happening. Like the infrastructure, architecture of the two machines being the first of all, the way marketing is done, the way like legal, the legal precedents and how a lot of that stuff is set up as well. There's loads of barriers to it not happening. It felt like with some games like Minecraft, like centralized servers might have played a part and that everyone's tapping into it anyway and everyone's on x86 architecture. So, okay, it's not so weird anymore. We're all kind of doing that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where they are now, where like, I've talked to developers who make online games and they say, oh, we can do it. We just, they won't let us. Like, we could flick a switch right now and everyone could be playing together. There's no problem in terms of the code.
From Rocket League, Dunham says if they would let us do, I think he said it was either 15 minutes or an hour or something, they'd have it. It's one thing to tick and then it would start going.
So it's just that there are, there's historical reasons why, and also
Rocket League's the interesting one. I can give you, whatever. You're a business, you make your own decisions. It's PlayStation, whatever. It's your life. It's your company. Rocket League's the one of like, you're already playing with Xbox. Why not just let them play with Switch and? I'm sorry, you're already playing with PC. Why not just let them play with Xbox and Switch? And who cares? Like, what does it matter? What does it matter if there's a little X in a bracket or whatever? Maybe it is an Xbox logo, but it's not like people don't know the Xbox exists.
Right. Like they come up a Signet for the other one right now. If you're on PlayStation and you're playing a PC person, I'm pretty sure it does Signet. And if you're on PC, on PlayStation, that's what it comes up as. So it's just like other.
Sure. Okay.
Because the username stuff doesn't have parity, obviously.
And but like Minecraft, I can give you it's weird to be like, hey, great, thanks for logging in, buying PlayStation Plus to play games online, and now that you're online, playing this game online, hey, can you make an Xbox account? Like, we're making it complicated enough to play games on PlayStation 4 via online, because we are making them pay for it. I understand not wanting to advertise that there's another system and service out there doing something similar.
Totally, or even like having a link to an image which is being co-opted by somebody else, then you don't have control over what that looks like.
Exactly.
And then you get into like weird situations where front ends are loading in weird stuff that you don't want.
Exactly.
It's like the reason I think it's always going to be on a case by case though is that you look like something like PUBG, right? Being published by Microsoft on Xbox One.
Yeah.
They will never do cross-platform on that, obviously, because at least with Rocket League, there are some pro players that play with a mouse and keyboard in Rocket League even as well. But on PUBG, you're never going to want console players with controllers playing against
PC players. Keyboard.
There was a really famous one with the Dreamcast version of Quake 3 that came out. A bunch of PC coders actually managed to crack into the Dreamcast servers and just basically ruined that game for Dreamcast players. Yeah, totally killed everyone. And in fact, I think the Dreamcast version had like, you could only have a 20 character limit on your name. So they'd come in with like these 50 string names, like saying like, Sega Dreamcast, fuck you, PC Master Race, whatever. And then just like murder everyone. So like, there's always going to be games that it does not make sense for people. But like, there are some games I'm sure that would benefit both parties, and most of them Microsoft.
Sticks to what both. This week's been kind of a blur because I feel like it's been one giant week, but then there's been break, whatever.
With all the Gamescom stuff on the weekend as well.
It was just my own personal life, and then taking yesterday off. But like, it's just I feel I can't. It's all a blur. But I know we've been talking so much about Xbox and catching up, or do they need to? And we have some reader mail about that stuff too. But I think this is another one of continuing Xbox doing and laying the groundwork and a foundation for what's right about Xbox. Of like, hey, we are gamers first, and we're trying to work this out, and we're trying to do this stuff, and it is on them. It's definitely the balls in their court, is what they said, and it is a way to keep that fire stoked. Because when it did come out at E3, all this stuff, and it was, PlayStation's not going to do it. Everybody's like, ugh.
Yeah.
What a dumb move, PlayStation. You guys, but then everybody forgets. It just goes on, and it's like, okay, well, it's status quo for Minecraft and Rocket League. Like, you don't think about the fact that you're not getting that.
It's not weird now when you boot those game ups. You're like, wow, I'm able to play with others.
Yeah,
there's nothing about that. So I don't know. Ultimately, this is a really good thing for gamers if they do it, especially with games that have been out for a while. Like we had that person a couple of weeks back who wanted to play 50 Cent Blood in the Sand with somebody, right? Like that's a good example of.
It'll never happen on that level.
Increase the pool. Yeah,
but I mean, like for these games that have such dedicated audiences, you'd think so.
Right.
Speaking of it, number 2, Rocket League has revealed its Nintendo Switch exclusive cars. At launch, there will be a Mario, Luigi, and Samus cars when they arrive in the fall.
God damn it. I'm gonna who was it? Yeah, on Monday who said they own Minecraft on 9 platforms? I own Rocket League on literally every platform.
Well, the problem is that when this got announced, I was like, oh, right. And like the Samus car looks awesome. Have you seen it? Yeah, like the Mario and Luigi cars look like you'd expect. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Samus car, fucking looks like the ship, and it's like, man, that's awesome. It was one of those, oh man, Rocket League's out. I hope I get to play that. I'm remembering my Switch and play that at PAX. Oh fuck, it's not out yet.
Right,
like
yeah,
that
yeah,
is like
totally.
one of those things of like Rocket League is for me going to get new legs on the Switch, which is really impressive because came to PlayStation, played it. Like that thing went away for a weekend, came back, everybody's too good. I was like, well, this isn't fun to get destroyed. And so to come here and have it where it'll be like how right now with the best friend community, when we meet up at something, we play some Mario Kart, to have it be like, hey, you guys want to do some fucking Rocket League? Sure. And like have everybody kind of be on, I'm sure there'll be a Zyger of the group that's way too good at it, but everybody be kind of on the same playing field. That sounds like fun. I want to do that.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be interesting in that most people play Rocket League in front of a television online. Yeah. And the Switch is the antithesis of that for a lot of people. Yeah. Like I tend to play on airplanes. Yep. You know, will they update the bots a bit? Because the bots right now, like I can beat them on, you go 3v1 is the hardest, where it's you against 3 hardcore bots. Yeah. And even then it's not that bad if you've been playing the game for a while. So yeah, like I'm wondering if they're going to maybe add some new modes in there. Probably not. But if not, at least the local stuff sounds really cool. Like when I go back to Ireland too, right? So yeah, it's
just going to be playing as a handheld. But I see you're talking about being on a plane or whatever to that extent.
I play it like at least 20% of my Switch time is on 35,000 feet. So.
Speaking of PAX 2, don't forget, Danny and I both have panels Sunday of PAX.
Witcher panel noon on Sunday.
Okay, and I'm 5 o'clock cancer panel. Number 3, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom. Kingdom Battle has announced the season pass. At launch, you'll get 8 exclusive steampunk weapons. Hooray! Fall 2017, you'll get new solo challenges and co-op maps. All right, and then 2018, you'll get a new quote unexpected story content.
AKA, we haven't figured out what it is yet.
Or it's gonna, exactly. It's gonna be even weirder crossover or whatever.
Unexpected. Everything about this game is already unexpected. Yeah. So I'm interested to know.
What do they think is unexpected when it comes to a story content? Yeah.
I feel like Nintendo season passes have been pretty good. Yeah. I was really happy, or at least their DLC stuff. The Zelda stuff I've liked a lot. Yeah. The Mario Kart stuff I adored. Yeah. All that stuff was Wii U totally worked out. Yeah. Made the best version of it available on Switch. All that stuff. So yeah, like I'm kind of in the world now where I kind of I'm happy to dive into
it's
this.
Gonna be fascinating playing it at preview events. Mario plus Rabbids, like
I still haven't let it go.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Kevin and I went to a preview event and played co-op together, and it was like, oh, this is actually fun. I can see myself doing it. But then it's like that whole thing of mashing up with the Rabbids world and following that Roomba around. I'm like, is that going to be fun? Like, I don't know. So it's this weird thing of
overworld thing.
I'm still, this looks like it'll be fun. I want to tinker with it, but I don't know if I want to be playing it well into 2018 for your story content. Like, I don't know if that's the kind of thing. But
that's a good point. Like games like XCOM, I feel like a lot of people play to completion, and then they sort of stop. There'll always be people who keep playing, but like games like Civ, like a lot of strategy games, the mass market I feel like tends to play them and then stops.
Yeah, well that's why both XCOM and Civ are so great about putting out giant expansions, right? Of like, hey, it has its own name. It's whatever : here's a brand.
We're under the water now.
Exactly. Oh whoa, Woo. Aquaman. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here with this one.
I'm very fascinated. This game's out real soon.
I know,
dude.
right?
It's like next week or something.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Number 4. Life is Strange developers are now teamed up with Bandai Namco. They should have done that. Bando would have been a better combination of names. Bandai Namco.
Bandai Kazooie.
For a new game. This is according to MCV. Bandai Namco has announced a new strategic partnership with Life is Strange developer Don't Nod Entertainment. MCV can exclusively reveal. The new partnership will see the creation of a brand new IP based on a new narrative adventure experience. More details about the game, including platforms, a release date, and whether it will be boxed or digital, will be announced in 2018, but Bandai Namco has told us it will take place in a fictional city in the US and include, quote, a fair dose of investigation. It's also been in production since 2016, which is fascinating.
Interesting.
I wonder, it gets announced in 2018, and then if it gets turned around pretty quick and put back out.
All right. Tekken. Life is Tekken.
Well, yeah, that's their thing, right? We'll see. Life is Tekken. Pac-Man. That's what it's going to be. Life is Pac-Man. It's a brand new IP based on a new narrative adventure experience. So it's going
Life is Dark Souls.
That's really interesting, and I wonder what the hell that's going to end up being.
Yeah, I'm interested in them taking a second swing at because I haven't played much Life is Strange at all, but I know I'm so sorry. But I think it's like I always like Tacoma
Yeah.
I adore Tacoma. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
I think I preferred it. Like, it's hard to separate it or compare it and Gone Home because they're two different eras. But
Sure.
I really enjoyed Tacoma. And I love seeing a team that's made something interesting and unique and they'd sort of made it their own, take on a second project because they learned so much. It's the same with like Telltale stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is really cool. And I like the idea of like taking that and maybe applying it to a different type of story that might pull in more people as well.
Yeah, that's what's interesting, right? Is that you figure right now, then you figure Don't Nod is working on this game with Namco, or Bandai Namco. Then it's working on that vampire game, Vampire. And then it's working on Life is Strange 2.
Yeah.
So they actually have, I mean, for being a quote unquote small studio, a lot going on right now. But it'll be interesting.
Hopefully not spread too thin as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is kind of doing it right. It's weird that this is just a story out of the blue. That, hey, we're working on this thing, but we're not going to say anything until next year.
Right.
All right, thanks.
Although has MCV, did they leak it?
I mean, it's like exclusive. I mean, they must have had some kind of heads up on it.
It's always weird when MCV do that because they're kind of like a B2B publication. Like they're kind of like an industry. So it's like Gamma Sutra coming out with like a leaked story. It's always like, well, okay, sure.
Okay, cool.
Whatever.
Yeah, we'll see. But I wonder how quick the turnaround will be in terms of announcement to release.
Right.
It's been going since 2016. You imagine it go pretty dang quickly. And then, Danny, one that I want your expert foreign opinion on.
As an Australian.
Blizzard, well, no, just in general. Stick with me here. I'm going to drive it back to you.
No, I know where you're coming from.
Blizzard apologizes to Australia, and this is a GameSpot story. Overwatch game director Jeff Kaplan has issued an apology to the entire country of Australia over perceived cultural insensitivity regarding the new Junkertown map.
That's a great line. The entire country of Australia. That's beautiful.
The map is set in Australia and it has a sign that uses the American term take out instead of the Australian version take away. Kaplan responded on Reddit saying he is sorry about the mistake and pledging that a future patch will fix it. Quote, I'd like to offer a direct apology to the entire country of Australia. Please forgive our cultural insensitivity. We will fix this in an upcoming patch, parentheses. The sign travesty will most likely go live for some period before being fixed. He said, I've also been told by Mollusk that our coffees are too large as well. We're learning, trying over here. As Kotaku points out, this isn't the only element of the new Junkertown map that is gathering some amount of controversy. The map's announcement trailer has voiceovers that say, quote, they thought they could take our land and give it to the machines. Blizzard caught some heat on social media over the quote, they thought they could take our land line in light of Australia's controversial history regarding indigenous groups.
Right.
Not so much anything about this. You're Irish, not Australian. I get that.
Yeah.
All jokes aside.
But I am from a, you could say, a post-colonial country, maybe.
Sure.
So there's two parts to this, right?
Sure.
I feel like it's a bit of a stretch. Okay, take away anyone in the UK, Ireland, Australia, which is culturally quite similar to the UK because there's a lot of expats, English and Irish people living there. We'd say take away. So like, I don't really think that's cultural insensitivity. I think that's strong language.
I think the whole thing is tongue in cheek up until the Kotaku section.
Yeah, okay. So like, I think that's cool. And like, those types of accuracies are always really fun. Like when you're from a country that's not shown a lot in video games, you tend to take ownership over, like, for instance, in The Witcher, like the people on Skellige speak with Northern Irish accents in the English adaptation of that game. And they pronounce things in Gaelic in ways that sometimes I wouldn't say. Like crack on crate, I would say would be crack on crotcha. They say cadmil when they meet people, which is the first two lines of Céad Míle Fáilte, which is hello in Irish.
Okay.
But it actually, if you translate cadmil, means 100,000, not... Because we'd say 100,000 welcomes.
Sure.
It doesn't work. So like when those things happen, when BioShock came out, everyone loved Atlas because it was the first time that a really good Irish accent was in a game.
Yeah.
Amazing because it was actually an Irish-American voice actor who'd done it. The same person who played the other character in that game I won't spoil it.
No spoilers.
It's 10 years old.
For the 10-year-old BioShock. Even though some people are about to play it for the first time thanks to the Collector's Anniversary Edition.
Yeah. So when these things happen, there's a lot of pride involved, and there's also a lot of, you should fix that. So it's cool that they did that.
See, that was my where I wanted to drive at initially with you on this one, is how much stuff like that takes you out of the experience when you're playing The Witcher and like, what?
It's The Witcher. At least there's such a thematic like distance from reality.
Yeah,
that you're kind of like, okay, it's weird and hokey. But I think what happens is you 90% think this is amazing that your culture is in the game.
Yeah,
and then you're just like, I don't know. I kind of enjoy nitpicking.
Of course,
I mean, it's like a fun.
on such a different level, like don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to compare this, but it was the same way always with the NCAA football games.
Totally.
Where like I did a video for IGN comparing NCAA to Madden or whatever, and one of my giant arguments was the fact that they had Mizzou running out of the tunnel, and then in the next shot they had them running towards the tunnel. But if you didn't know what the stadium looked like, it's just camera cuts. You don't pay attention. But it didn't make any sense how they were doing that. And that building over there doesn't look like that. Right. And this should be that way. Like,
and like that type of stuff is really important to everyone. Like when I played UFC game when Conor McGregor was first in it, I was like, that's amazing. When you play a game that's set in a town you live in or used to live in, like this is why like the conversation about representation in games is so important. To sidetrack a little bit, is because I feel like certain people are satiated quite a lot with that, and other people aren't. So I think like it's so important to people who don't have that type of representation that when it's done, you kind of want it to be done right. That's why there's so 100%. Much like interesting stuff written around Watch Dogs and Mafia 3 when they came out last year in relation to African Americans being portrayed in video games accurately or inaccurately. So when it comes to this, change the coffee cups, change it to takeaway. That's cool. The line, Australia's like, I'm not Australian, so I can't speak to it exactly. It's difficult to talk about Australia and colonialism without taking into account the fact that there was a lot of Aborigine people who were displaced and murdered in the exact same way that in America there was a lot of Native Americans murdered. Sure. So I think maybe because I don't know why, but I feel like in Australia maybe it's just culturally because of people when it happened, the timeline, the way in which it happened, the ways in which those people are still persecuted to this day, much like the Native Americans in America. I don't know why, but in Australia, I've always felt like it's more on the surface. Like maybe it's that America currently has like a lot of other fucked up shit going on, whereas like Australia, that still ranks pretty high in the sort of like cultural sensitivity
we have right now. Yeah.
I don't know. From an outsider looking in, that's how I perceived it. So I do think that maybe that line, if you had someone in Australia, an Australian on staff, they probably wouldn't have written it that way.
Gotcha.
Then saying, is it like the biggest, grievance in the world? No, but like I do think it's good that people call out that type of stuff so we can, if nothing else,
have a conversation about it.
Totally, because if you were, you need to think about the person who that like affects. Like, it's not an apples to apples, but it's really interesting. There was a lot of like criticisms of BioShock Infinite's conversations around race, right? In that there was a very sort of matter of fact sort of, I was about to use the term black and white, I didn't mean it in that way, but like binary look at race, in that like, oh, do you want to throw the baseball at the interracial couple or not, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, that game made me empathize with Irish diaspora in a way that no other game or very few movies ever had. When I came around the corner in one of the levels and there was a sign for the Irish people's toilets, like I literally like stopped and like almost cried. In a way that like Irish people are very in tune with our cultural past, and we're very happy and privileged and lucky, in my generation especially, to be so far from that. But it's also close enough that we feel it. Like we have a very underdog mentality. And I lived in England for a couple of years, and I felt it there a little bit, that rub. And that was it. And that game to me is a really good example of, some people can play that game, never notice it.
Sure.
An African American man play that game and think this is some really hokey, maybe surface level bullshit on something that's really important to me. I could play that game and then have a different experience based on the way in which Irish people are portrayed and the way in which Irish people exist today. So there's a big conversation around like censorship in games, people being too sensitive and all this sort of shit. I think it's cool that games can affect people that way, and I think it's cool when work is put in to try and not be so flippant about issues that are really important to people.
Sure.
And as games get more, bigger and they become more like people are invested in games emotionally in a way that we weren't 20 years ago. Like I didn't feel for Sonic Strife, like
you just want to save all those animals, man.
Come on. And I'm not saying Overwatch is that way either, but I think it's like a good thing for games and for the conversation around games that people do take this stuff seriously, because kind of like what I said on Monday, back in the 90s, games were kind of this weird hokey marketing
bro-y thing
shit, which was kind of lame. Like it was kind of lame.
Yeah.
So like I prefer modern day Lara Croft to Lara Croft back then, and that happens because we start to take these conversations seriously.
Sure. Well, we take the conversation seriously and take the game seriously.
Yeah.
And I think that is the thing where you bring it up. Are people oversensitive? Are they not? Or how does this play? Blah blah. I think that there's still a pretty definitive line over what's over the line and what's not.
Right.
And I think that, you know what I mean? Like the line, I hadn't even heard of the thing Kotaku points out or whatever, but I understand where that could ring in someone's ear and catch them off guard. And I'm sure that's not what they meant. And I mean, it's still there, but it's the same way of, you know, when Horizon hit and that there was a professor who had put out a thing, right, saying that this was a slap in the face to Native Americans by their use of savage and the word tribe and blah, blah. And Guerrilla responded, and the writer was just like, no, it's not. And we're not going to engage with this. And I think if not everybody, did the exact same thing of like, that does seem a bridge too far.
And there was a similar thing with The Witcher 3 in terms of the fact that there are basically no black people in that game whatsoever. Right? And like, I love these types of conversations. I think it's really good when people criticize games for that. And I think it's also really good when people have counter arguments for it that are sensible as well. Yeah. Like culturally, I've been to Poland a couple of times. It is one of the whitest places in the world. And you can see that in the game. But that's not to say that maybe in fantasy, why should you, if you're going to have to be that way? Hey, there's also no fucking dragons in Poland. Actually, there's no dragons in The Witcher. There's no noon wraiths.
Yeah, I was going to say, fucking aborted babies coming out of the ground.
Botchlings aren't like getting, crawling out of the ground all over the place. So, like, there are multiple truths. Yeah. And it's okay for us to engage in these conversations and not immediately feel like we're being attacked if someone else is saying something else. And I think it's really cool that in 2018 or 2017, getting ahead of myself, we're having these conversations. And I think most of the time, everyone's opinion has some aspect of validity. Sure. And if we spent more time listening to other people and thinking, okay, there's something there, as opposed to immediately rushing to our defensive, this is the way the world is, I think we'd all be a lot better off.
Yeah, well said.
I don't know. It was a little bit messy. Thank you.
No, I liked it. No, you present. It was good. It was good, Dan. You did good stuff.
So what's Annie? Good job, Jeff Kaplan.
If I want to know what came to the mom and grop shops, where do I go? Don't worry. Just read off the screen. Stop trying to be a tough guy.
The official list of upcoming software on each and every platform as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every day. I think I've got it now.
No, you missed weekday and something else. But I'm not going to bust your balls.
That's Andrea's fault.
Yeah, exactly. Out today, Spartan on Xbox One and PS4. Masquerada Songs and Shadows on Xbox One, which I had seen at PAX. Feels like many moons ago and was a fun looking game.
Masquerade, it's not, okay. I was thinking Vampire the Masquerade, but no.
No, it's different. Knock Knock on Xbox One, Black Sea Odyssey on Xbox One, and Eterno Blade, or maybe Eterno Blade, Xbox One.
Sometimes games are made and I'm like, rename it.
Come on, man.
Like,
help us out here.
Hellblade was another one I was like...
That was like a fun one because it was a planned Heavenly Sword. You're like, all right.
Oh, God, I see what you're doing. About that.
I see what you're doing. New dates for you. Hellboy, Raiden, and Black Manta are coming to Injustice 2 as part of the same second Fighter Pack. Fighter Pack 2 will be available for purchase starting September 12th, at which point the first character from the bunch will be available for early access. Not everybody, but a lot of people are freaking out about Hellboy, an out of left field character joining the fray.
How does Hellboy look? Does Hellboy look like movie Hellboy?
Yeah, I mean, but I guess he looks more like comic Hellboy, but they look. I thought the movie Hellboy looked a lot like comic Hellboy, so pretty good. Just Cause developer Avalanche Studios and Expansive Worlds today announced that their hunting game, The Hunter: Call of the Wild, is coming to consoles. It'll be on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 on October 2nd for $40. Enjoy that.
Cool.
Now I got some deals of the day. You ready for that?
Do it. We had a good one on Monday. That HTC Vive deal was pretty good.
Wait. Well, I don't know if we'll be able to challenge that because we've got a bunch of different things in here. Some of them are just heads up, which I appreciate. All three of them are from you, the community. Remember, you can be part of the show, kindoffunny.com/KFGD, just like...
Doing our work for us.
Gadum Hayes.
Big fan of that game, Hayes.
Yeah, apparently.
Video games are my religion.
There's a PlayStation game that needs to come back, right?
Is the shit.
Vita Lives. Greg, you know I love Tim and Andrea, but yesterday they did a great disservice. During the new releases section, they failed to announce a pivotal release. Yesterday, the expansion to Darkest Dungeon, The Crimson Court, finally made its way to PlayStation's community. Why is this bit of DLC so crucial, you ask? Cross-buy and cross-play on the PS4 and the PlayStation Vita, complete with DLC trophies. This title is a must-buy for any card-carrying member of Vita Island. Long may it float. The DLC is $9.99, but they also released a deluxe version of the regular game that includes the Crimson Court. While Darkest Dungeon does play better on PS4, saves transfer incredibly easily and make a great title to play at home and on the go. Please, Greg, let the people know. Love the show. Keep it up. P.S. I could listen to Kevin shout Baker's Dozen all day.
Me too.
I hope today's scientific Baker's Dozen did it for you.
Do islands float?
Vita Island does, because it's just a trash barge. Slowly drifting further and further out into the water as we all eat the trash and try to survive. Kevin, I'm sure it's not our Kevin, wrote in to kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, deal of the week.
All right.
You can rent Boss Baby for 99 cents if you have PlayStation Plus. Go fuck yourself, Kevin. It's a terrible deal of the day. Nobody watch Boss Baby. I have no idea if the film's good or not. I think it looks dumb.
I watched it in my peripheral vision 3 times as the child in front of me on the Virgin America flight across country.
It just looks so
I watched
dumb.
it over and over again. Yeah. Boss Baby.
And then, longtime fan of Kind of Funny Games Daily.
What a name.
Javier writes, Javier Bonet Ruiz. When you say it, I gotta say the whole thing, and I gotta try, and I fuck it up every time. Hey, Greg and Danny. Hey. The Evil Within is on sale this week for $5.
Ooh.
Do you guys have any interest in the game, seeing as the sequel is out this year on October 13th? I haven't heard a single peep about this game. Would love your thoughts. Greetings from Florida. P.S. Will there be Kind of Funny Games Daily merch in the future? Andy, will there be Kind of Funny Games Daily merch in the future?
Hell yeah, there will.
Andy screamed, hell yeah, there will, from off screen. Kevin is looking over the notes. It wasn't about you. A listener wrote in named Kevin.
Yeah. You're not the only...
Didn't say.
You're not the only person called Kevin.
Sorry, buddy.
Do you know what Kevin in Irish is?
No.
Quiveen.
Yeah. Quiveen. Let's do it again.
Quiveen.
Quiveen.
Irish, not a real language.
Oh!
It's called Gaelic. He's right.
He's got me on semantics. There you go. Evil Within, Danny.
Yeah.
$5 for the original. Do you care about the next one?
I care about the next one. I think the first one was good fun, but like it was hokey in like kind of like endearing fun ways in the same way like the first Dark Souls is kind of hokey. But in ways that like make it like fun and unique.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I think for $5, if you're looking for like a solid game for under a tenner, that's totally
Evil Within.
Getting.
Tenner. I like that a lot. Evil Within. The story goes that we went and saw it at PAX on that debut thing. We watched it, we left, and we were all like, "That looked terrible." No, the original Evil Within. Me, Damon, and somebody else from IGN went to behind closed doors at PAX, watched it, left, and we're like, did videos like, this looks dumb. We don't know what it is, and it was just a bad vertical slice of what the game was going to be, and it didn't run well, didn't look good.
And it's not like Game of the Year material.
Sure, but so many people loved it when it did hit.
It's a really good, like, if you go in with, like, fair expectations, there's a lot to enjoy in that game. Yeah. It's scary as hell as well.
Yeah.
I think, for $5, I actually think I might pick it up.
I never gave it a shake, and I feel like, unlike Wolfenstein, which I stopped and I want to get back to, and actually I finished Wolfenstein before Wolfenstein 2, it's the thing that I don't need to see what Evil Within 1, I feel like, was about. I've heard enough good things that I'm interested to see how Evil Within 2 does, but even then, I'm going to need really good reviews and impressions from friends that really like it before I'm like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I need to jump in and try that, because there's too much shit coming out this fall. Danny.
Yes, sir.
It's time to check in with the listeners. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be part of the show, kindafunny.com/KFGD.
What you got?
I thought I didn't. Here we go. I want to jump in to Brandon's comment. It's out of order for you. Nothing that matters.
Okay.
But it's about Uncharted The Lost Legacy's review. No spoilers, but it's now out the game, so it's okay. Check out the full review, kindafunny.com/kindafunnygames. No, that's not right. YouTube.com/kindafunnygames. Brandon writes in and says, my copy arrived early. That is Uncharted The Lost Legacy. So I was able to beat it Tuesday in just over 8 hours. Jesus. I was excited to listen to your review for the first time and was really disappointed in Greg's main beats during the discussion. I couldn't believe I was playing another Uncharted game so quickly and was in awe throughout the game. Yet Greg saying it was, quote, just another Uncharted and questioning if it needed to be made or if another spin-off should be done was very disappointing. It came across as being ungrateful and seems strange for somebody that promotes positivity to be so negative. I'm reading it as it lies. It's just my brain's trying to fix it as I go. I'm just going to read it off the page. It came across as being ungrateful and seemed strange for somebody that promotes positivity to be so negativity about its experience and potential future. Naughty Dog should be applauded for making this game and then turning it around so quickly, yet instead they're being questioned for it. I adore these games and agree with Tim that I could easily play a spin-off Uncharted or Last of Us every year. This was easily one of the best games I've played this year, and honestly, ever, when you think about how many games have ever been made. Also left behind was $15, not $10 upon release. Thanks for fact-checking us on that one, Brandon. And then overall, about what you're saying, Brandon, I find it very distressing in the fact that Kind of Funny obviously is a place of positivity and good vibes, and we want to be good to everything. But if we're going to criticize a game in a review, we're going to be critical of it.
Right.
And I think that's the argument to be made here. You can go to any of the websites anywhere and get a numbered score, and this isn't me putting them out, a numbered score and a concise, here's what I liked and didn't like about it. I like the idea that we can have a fundamental disagreement, I think. Because for not years, but I guess, well, maybe years. If you would have put it out there, what Tim had said leading up to Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, that he would eat up a spin-off Uncharted every year if that's what they wanted. He annualizing it. I was always like, yeah. And then I got this one. And again, as I said in the review, it's good. Great even. It is better than most games out there. I enjoyed myself playing it. I just wasn't blown away.
Yeah.
And then it becomes, this is the talk of the critical thing. At no point was I being negative to be negative sake. At no point was I saying Naughty Dog didn't try hard on this. At no point was I putting down the developers. I just think there's an argument to be made in the fact that when you've put out 4 games that are masterclasses in games and visuals and storytelling and so on and so forth, it's then weird to put out Uncharted: The Lost Legacy and have it be a great game, but not, I clearly we disagree, I think a little bit maybe, Brandon, not be one of the greatest Naughty Dog games, if that makes sense. Yeah. And that's the struggle you walk with this stuff. But at no point were we being insulting. I think to critique something you love is what we do here and how we talk about things.
Like, expectation is like 9/10 of enjoyment of so many games.
Yeah.
And I think like there is a certain expectation leveled against a game like Uncharted, considering that, like 2 was such a massive breakthrough. 1 was solid, 2 was a massive breakthrough, 3 was too, and Uncharted 4 was absolutely incredible. Right. So you would levy the same criticism on, a spin-off of a Red Dead or a Grand Theft Auto or any of those, right?
And I think even to that point, right, one of the main, not problems I had with it, one of the interesting points of it was the fact that we weren't even spinning off something that's continuing to go.
Right.
Uncharted is done. Nathan Drake's story is done, they always say. Clearly they want to leave the door open to do whatever they want with the franchise. But Uncharted 4 ended so definitively and so fucking well.
Right.
They knocked it out of the goddamn park. To then come back, I was excited for more Uncharted, to jump in and play it, and I was having fun playing it. And when I finished it, it was just that thing of like, it's a step too far. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, it ended so well before, and I was so happy before. I'm still happy here. I'm still going to go back and platinum this game. I just feel like I wish somehow this could have come before the end of what was supposed to be the Uncharted, legacy for now or whatever, Nathan Drake's story.
And it speaks to the, like, I'm not saying like consensus is always right, but the way you're talking about this seems to be fitting in with what I've read in a lot of reviews. Yeah. And that speaks to that whole expectation, in that, like, if this was any other series, you would be like, it'd be, oh, it's really good that it was this good. Whereas, like, we need, when people are going to, like, pick up a game that says Uncharted written on it, even the consumer has an end expectation. And, like, you can see to Brandon's point, like, Brandon using words like ungrateful and like Naughty Dog should be applauded. Like, Brandon's clearly somebody who really, really likes this series, played the game, got it early, completed it in one go, right?
Yeah.
So Brandon's probably looking for, like, I don't want to use the term fanboy because it's reductive, but he's clearly like a big fan of this. And it's like, it's okay when people don't like something as much as you do. Yeah. Like, it's cool. Like, I'm really happy for Brandon that he enjoyed the game that much.
Me too.
And you did too. But it's, it's okay when people don't necessarily like it as much as you do.
And it's a slippery slope too, not number one to be upset if somebody, I think, being fairly critical in my mind, but maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the chat or the comments, I guess, since we don't look at the chat. But it's also the thing of, do you understand? I understand right now it's so easy to sit here and be like, if they made a annual Uncharted or Last of Us every year, we all be 3 years in, everybody would be like, it's maybe has Naughty Dog lost it, blah blah. Like, it would have.
Assassin's Creed.
Exactly. The tenor would change on that pretty quickly in the way of, like, it's easy to say it right now in a vacuum. We have one game, we're just excited to have more.
Right.
Sure. I think expectation's a big part of Uncharted: Lost Legacy, and I think where it falls in all of this, and the fact that if it would have stayed as, hey, we're putting out single player DLC, it'll be like Left Behind. You jump in and holy shit, this is an 8-hour game. Oh my God, this is so blah, 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 blah. I think the messaging got flipped on that, where they got out in front of it too early, where they were like, no, it's a full game. It's its own thing. We're putting it on disc. It's a standalone Uncharted. Like, holy shit. And then you jumped in, it's like, oh, well, it's all the mechanics of 4.
Yeah.
Like, it's very clearly like,
it feels like
this
DLC
is 4
that
again.
Was,
that
got too big, which is something that Naughty Dog have done a lot. Like, Uncharted 4 was like 20 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Uncharted 4, there's one criticism of 4, it's that it does overstay its welcome in certain parts. Like, it keeps going on.
Sure. So it's just being critical of things we love. I love Lost Legacy. I think everybody should buy Lost Legacy. I'm going to platinum Lost Legacy. It's not me saying that this sucked and Naughty Dog made a horrible decision. They didn't.
Yeah.
They fucking made a great one.
And there's something to be said for Like if you have like your favorite meal every night, it gets boring. There's something to be said for like, look at games like spin-offs are like this. Gears of War Judgment, Halo, like ODST, all the stuff they did and they sort of bringing out loads of those. Obviously Assassin's Creed, obviously Call of Duty. They become less special because there's less time put into it. And that's what happens with mechanically. Like you look at the difference between 4 and 3, like the difference is that they are different games. Like the way in which they play and the mechanisms, the style of the world, like they are totally different. Well, they're very, very different, right? And you look at the two of these, and they're the same thing. And that's the reality of annual development, is that you cannot reinvent the wheel every year.
Yeah.
We don't have the brain power. We don't have the person power to actually do it.
And I think that was the thing is like, I've seen other reviews who have been more critical or lower scores or, we score, you know what I mean? People getting run through the mud over it, right? Of like, well, they don't have to reinvent the wheel. And it's like, you're right, they don't. However, with the track history of this studio, of this franchise, that's what we've come to expect. So to jump in there, and especially with the fact of like, it was leading into this of like, oh man, like, hey, you guys have got it wrong. This is something different. This is a full-blown Uncharted. And maybe not full-blown is whatever they said, but this is a full Uncharted experience, which it kind of was.
Yeah.
It was. It just wasn't. When you say full-blown, and now that I've played it, you're like, oh, it's a long game, and there's a bunch of climb, and there's a bunch of collectibles, and there's all these different things. And all right, cool. It's not like, hey, there's going to be this giant, where's the plane sequence? Where's the boat sequence? Where's these things?
How much does it cost?
$40.
Like they're telling you in the price what this is, right?
Bye. Next question is Midnight Owl. Cool, Greg. I want you got to stew on this one, all right? I don't know if I need necessarily a comment from you on this one, but this is one to put on your radar. It's one to put on your radar, ladies and gentlemen. I trust Midnight Owl because he's got a great name, but I haven't gone to listen to this part of the podcast.
Strong name.
Hi, Greg. This isn't for air, or maybe it is newsworthy, but I thought it would interest you. At SummerSlam, the biggest party of the summer, this year, there were rumors that The Undertaker was backstage, but he never made an appearance on the show. Jerry Lawler on his podcast speculated, quote, everybody that was on the show that night, myself included, had to be scanned. This company, it's not the 2K people, it's a different game that's going to be coming out next year. So everybody had to have their face scanned, or their face scans and their body scans. Just thought I'd put it out there. You may be getting your wish list of a less realistic WWE game next year. I also found it interesting that this little nugget was lost in crossovers between industries, and we'll wait to see if anyone else picks it up. Very interesting.
Nice catch. Yeah.
Because, for what I've been saying. Now, the problem I have is that, and now granted, I guess this is speculating on a speculation, is the fact that Jerry goes, this company, it's not the 2K people.
Right.
My hope, what I want, of course, is, hey, here it is, old school wrestling fans. We're making, we're knocking off AKI's engine. You're getting WrestleMania 2000 / NWO Revenge / whatever you want to call it. Those N64 wrestling games were doing something like that again.
Yeah.
Which you would scan the faces because that's how they used them before. The problem is that that would still be a 2K property.
Yes.
This scares me into thinking it's some weird mobile whatever game they're doing, because they have a million mobile whatever games.
It could also be that like Jerry knows the 2K main people, and this is like a sub studio.
And that's my thing is it's not the 2K people. All right, cool. So it's not the people you work with every year for WWE 2K whatever.
Yeah.
It is.
It's not
we're
Johnny
2K,
and Mary.
whoever.
It's
exactly.
And like
Something
2K could be farming this out to another like studio easily.
And that's what you'd expect them to be doing. Hey, get out there and do this and make this for us. And I fucking pray to God that's what they're doing.
That'd be super good.
And I don't want WWE, don't come at me with the WWE All-Stars business. That's not what I want.
That was fun.
What was that?
That was fun.
It was fine, but it didn't
scratch that itch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right?
Doink the Clown.
Come on, now we're not insulting Doink the Clown. We're big Doink fans up here. Doinkers!
I want that one again. He pulls out a hammer. That's WrestleMania, right?
Doink
He pulls out a hammer.
Oh, yeah. Fucking get Crush in there. Got a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Bam Bam Bigelow. Literally gets on fire. Sorry.
It's fine. Don't worry. You can talk wrestling in here all day long. Don't worry about it. Whit writes into kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, this is simple. This is a simple but realistic question. Right. Did Sony fuck up again and spread themselves too thin? Back in 2015, Sony had 3 press conferences: E3, Paris Games Week, and PSX. E3 began the E3 of dreams. Paris Games Week was a good show with the likes of Detroit Become Human, Wild, and Dreams.
European games.
By the time we got to PSX, Sony ran out of announcements. The biggest announcements of the show were Paragon, Ni no Kuni 2, Uncharted 4 branching dialogue, and a little bit of Final Fantasy VII Remake. In the eyes of the press, at least, it was a disappointing press conference with no big announcements. My concern is whether Sony has enough games on their plate to fill 2 more press conferences with good and exciting content, parentheses, release days, announcements, footage, etc. Is this a valid concern? Has Sony gotten so cocky they're falling back to the mistake they made in 2015? Or have they learned that this mistake and learned from this mistake and truly think that they have enough content for this press conference this year? Thank you, Whit.
He might be on something, but the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
So we won't know until those press. We don't know what they could announce. To his larger point about Sony perhaps becoming more complacent, I think that it's probably fair to say that now that they're in the sort of position of ascendancy, right, that they probably don't need to hustle as much as they did in the past.
Yeah.
So I think there's probably maybe a truth to Sony getting a little bit complacent, especially as we're also like mid-generation at the moment. The PS Pro seems to be selling well. We'll see what happens with Scorpio. I don't think it's threatening them all that much.
Yeah.
So I think there's probably a nugget of truth there. But in terms of the like press conferences, again, not to be banging on that drum a lot, but a lot of it's to do with expectation, and we won't really know until they've done it.
I think I always say this, and PlayStation, especially with PlayStation 4, has learned from their mistakes. I don't necessarily think I don't think they're spread too thin. I think Paris Games Week is what you need to get ready for and set your expectations.
Yeah.
It's going to be, hey, I'm David Cage. Here's Detroit Become Human. I would venture to guess their big thing there would be, here's the date.
Right.
But I don't even know if they'll do that. Maybe it's just another slice of some other part of the demo we haven't seen. And then I would think that, hey, we're Media Molecule. Dream isn't fucking dead. Here's what Dreams looks like right now.
Yeah. Like the Paris thing is like the way in which these companies, especially Sony, the way in which these companies work is, Paris Games Week will be in charge of the European PlayStation team, which are different to the American PlayStation team, which I think now does a lot of the Japanese stuff as well.
Well, when they reformed as SEI or whatever, right? They were like, now America is this. Is, yeah.
Whereas
SIE, right?
Whereas Europe has always had its own kind of thing going on. So like the Paris Games Week and Gamescom and all that stuff, I'm sure, well, maybe the Gamescom less, that's the reason it's Detroit and Wild and Media Molecule is because they're the studios that are based in Europe. Yeah. So they're not necessarily looking at all these things like we need to hit this beat, this beat, this beat. There's different teams with different sort of goals. Yeah. So, my thing from then this is already me setting PSX up to fail. Is then you get to PSX, and PSX is what PSX becomes is, all right, cool. God of War. Right. Because remember they said, hey, everything that had a 2018 date at E3 is early 2018. Yes. Or the first half of 2018, I think might have been Sean Layden's quote. What it would be then is, hey, all right, cool. We're going to open with God of War and we're going to finish with the date. Right. And then we're going to do a whole bunch of indie cool shit that you can't believe is actually coming over here doing stuff. Here's an update on Final Fantasy. Here's a weird mid-tier thing we're partnering with that's cool that'll get some people excited. Here's a game that's out today. And then you end with, here's Spider-Man and here's Spider-Man's date. Yeah. Like that. And that is a conference that, again, now granted, haters will be like, oh, it's just D3 again, but it's whatever. But it's like concrete information on these games. And I wouldn't be... Knowing how fucking crazy and ballsy they are, I wouldn't put it past them to say, here's another Last of Us Part 2 tease, not gameplay. Another, hey, we've been working with Troy and Ashley. Here's a scene they've done. It's still a ways out. Don't get excited. But open or close with that even. But I think you close with Spider-Man's date. Right. There's a bunch, there's loads of the bits. They could push Days Gone a bit, a bit more.
Yeah, I forget, and that's why I was trying. I didn't put it in there because I wasn't sure what if they had a 2018 date at the end of the Days Gone trailer. Kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. I need to know at E3 when they showed the Days Gone stuff, did it end with 2018? Was
the Shadow of the Colossus remake for early 2018 as well? Maybe.
I think that might be one that said 2018. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so that's another. Maybe,
but that'll be just something that happens. I mean, they'll show something probably for it, but I don't think they get. But I mean, PSX, I feel like they have a rhythm of our audience. This is the PlayStation audience. This is the heart of the core of PlayStation people. Let's show them something cool. Let's do something there. I mean, Crash Team Racing, right? If they want to do that, Sean Layden can just walk out again, and be like, hey guys, good news. We saw the incredible success we saw with Crash Bandicoot, so we're excited to tell you. They're working on a Crash Team Racing. Everybody goes crazy. And they punch people in the face.
Also, you can change your name.
Yeah.
On PSX.
If that's ever going to fucking happen, Shuhei Yoshida got to come out and do that right there. Because, Shu, we look to you. We need
He'll change his name as part of the marketing.
Right now to show you how easy it is. I'm going to do it on stage.
I'm going to change it. No, I'm going to change my real name.
Oh. To @USP?
To Greg Miller 2.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Shu. What an honor.
And then you'll do the opposite.
I changed mine to Shuhei Yoshida too?
That'd be good.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if I agree to that, but we'll see. Mario Miranda writes in to kindoffunny.com/KFGD and says, just giving some feedback on the topic of the Xbox One X and who it's meant for.
Oh, yeah.
I'm exactly what Andrea was describing on Tuesday. I don't particularly like or care for the PlayStation 4 exclusives. Honestly, I can't even name more than 2. So to me, it just comes down to personal preference in the controller, UI, and console ecosystem. I own a PlayStation 4 and rarely use it because I don't really like the controller and the UI, especially the controller battery. It's terrible and frustrating how quickly it drains. And I think the Xbox One controller is easily one of the best of all time, and I love the UI. So these reasons, coupled with my opinion that Xbox Live and Xbox Games with Gold and backward compatibility is superior to the Sony counterparts, means that I much rather have the latest, most badass Xbox that is available. I'm super psyched to get my Project Scorpio edition in November.
Yep.
Thank you, Mario.
Nike, Adidas. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
We're just there are preferences that people have that you don't need to justify. You just like something over one or the other.
Yeah.
I totally understand where he's coming from. With the 360, for instance, all the like PC, you could like media player stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that, and it disappointed me when I couldn't do it on PlayStation. So there's like loads of like idiosyncratic things.
Yeah,
that
I mean,
prefer,
that's what
right?
we were talking about. As we talk about like, oh man, what's Xbox doing? What's happening? Well, and we are always very upfront that well, we're PlayStation people, especially Tim and I when it was us on those episodes. I'm thankful that Mario writes in with that, and I do understand the flip of the coin of just like, well, I'm a Xbox guy and I use it, and I think the system's awesome, and I understand how it all works, and I know where to go get all this stuff. And super excited to announce tomorrow when we record the Kind of Funny Games cast that'll go live Friday for patrons, and then live on Monday it's gonna be Ryan McCaffrey joining us.
Oh, cool!
Because I want to talk about that op-ed he did of like what he would do for it, and then where he thinks it is as, hey, you're 100% in the Xbox camp. Bring me up to speed on where your allegiances lie and what you think's happening. Now, believe it or not, final question of the day.
All right.
Goes to another Mario.
Wow.
Mario Corrales wrote in and said, hi guys. So far in 2017, who are your favorite video game characters? Thanks for the awesome show. Ooh. It was an interesting one, right? Because I was thinking, I'm like, the only what jumps out to me.
Aloy.
Exactly. Yeah. Aloy. And that's the thing where I think she came so out of left field and was so great that you're like, oh man, totally. I know a lot of people shout out the people from Persona. That's a good one. There actually is a question from Gavin here that didn't make the cut today about Hellblade. I know a lot of people love that character too.
Senua.
Yeah, I can't ever pronounce it, so I just stay away from
like
it.
One of my I think of like Game of the Years immediately, and I then I go like Zelda, and I'm like, there was literally no character in that game that I thought was maybe the Korok seed.
Yeah, that what a great character he was. So fleshed out, so amazing.
Better than some of the other ones.
Yeah. So I mean, it's that weird thing. There's been so many great games, but it's like PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, Zelda, all these games where I'm just wandering a world where I'm not really. Wow, this is what this character is.
Yeah, like even games like Prey, which again, it's like a Cypher situation where you're not necessarily What about Uncharted? How was the writing in Lost Legacy?
I mean, Chloe's awesome.
I guess they're not new characters necessarily.
Exactly, that's the thing though. It's like, oh, you nailed Chloe. That's who I want it to be. I liked Nadine less than I thought I would.
Right, really. Yeah.
Her motivations I thought were wishy-washy.
Yeah, I don't know. Aloy it seems to be the standout.
Yeah, Aloy I think's the standout, but I want you to write in. We'll talk about it tomorrow. kindoffunny.com/KFGD with your picks.
Cuphead.
If he ever fucking comes out. Squad up time! This is where one of you writes in. Gives me the platform you're on, your username on the platform, the game you need help with. I read it here. All the best friends out there. Hit you up, friend you, play the games you need help with. Carter writes in. His PlayStation 4 username is AJTEVES500. So AJ Tevez 500. Here we go. Hey, Greg and Danny. I'm looking to squad up in Destiny 2. Ooh. Mainly, I'm looking for new clan mates on PlayStation 4. My PSN is AJTEVES500. Honestly, pronounce it however you want. And my clan is Our End Game. We are an LGBTQA plus friendly clan. Ooh. I am gay along with a few other members, looking to create a safe place for all gamers. I know how sexist and homophobic the online community can be in general, so this is our clan for all women gamers, gamers with disabilities, gamers, and he puts gay in capital letters, and our allies. We just want to create a safe place without toxicity where we can all come together and play one of our favorite games. Once again, my PSN name is AJTEVES500, and clan name is Our End Game. Eyes up, Guardians. P.S. Greg, if you ever need people to take you through the raids, old and new, without dragging you through and actually teaching you the mechanics, we are glad to help. We all remember exploring our first raid in Destiny. Well, thank you so much, Carter. Again, Destiny 2, we're streaming it. Like the kids are all gone. That it's me and Andy.
Right.
But then it's like Tim's gone. I think you're gone. Andrea's gone.
Is it out that soon?
Kevin's gone.
September 6th.
Cool Greg's gone, right? Oh, you are here.
Wow, games are happening.
No, Nick's gone. So like all we're gonna do in the afternoons is stream Destiny 2 here after this thing. So get hype, everybody.
Is Madden out? Have we crossed the threshold?
No, Madden's out. Madden's out right now. Yeah.
Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's it.
Early access.
Madden is like the Punxsutawney Phil of video games for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Once Madden's out, the fucking floodgates are open.
We're right here. It's
we're
time.
Back.
Yeah.
Destiny
we're really close to
Kingdom
Destiny 2.
Battle next week. Wow.
Can't wait. Yeah.
Wow.
Everybody's golf next week. Don't forget.
Everybody's golf. The only name that game ever had. Europa.
Danny. If
corrections.
we get something wrong, people can write in to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong to correct us as we record the show live. We keep the record straight. What did we screw up?
I screwed up one, but before we get to that, there was no date at the end of the Days Gone trailer. Thank you to a bunch of folks, including Capitalist Pig, for telling us about that. And Colin Alexander D. I fucked up. I kind of thought about it the minute the words
left your lips
come out of my mouth. That there was a dragon in The Witcher 2. Saskia the Dragon Slayer. I think the Scoia'tael Commander is like the human form of a dragon.
Seems like somebody didn't watch the No Clip documentary. He spent his entire life editing.
That I'm currently editing right now. I'll give this one to NBZ or Nibs. Danny said offhand that there are no dragons in The Witcher. However, in The Witcher 2, there's a dragon that is pretty central to the opening and ending of the game. In fact, depending on your choice, you can fight it on top of a tower, and it's fucking awesome. Yeah, probably. Who knows? No, you can't. I don't know, mate. Can you? I don't think you can have sex with Saskia. I don't know.
While we're talking about No Clip,
sure.
Of course, you're a great documentary series that you work on. We should support patreon.com/DannyO'Dwyer.
Thanks.
I saw someone tweet something and I never thought about it. Have you ever thought about doing a PUBG documentary?
I have talked to Brendan.
Okay.
We tried to sort something at AD3 maybe to meet up about it.
Yeah.
I would love to. It's on like my top 3. If there are 3 games this year I'd love to do, Horizon Zero Dawn. Would love to do one on that.
Everybody's golf.
Right. Patapon. PUBG and Breath of the Wild. And I feel like I think I would love to do it on PUBG. What I'd actually love to do is go there right now, film a bunch of their dev stuff while they're launching, and then release something like come back in a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk to them. Do the long form, because we've never done that. We've only done post-release.
Sure.
So
I'm be in bed with them. That'd be cool.
That'd be really cool. So but they're based in South Korea. And Brendan's Irish and he's in Ireland a bunch. And I know they've got people who have worked remotely as well. But Bluehole have just opened, I think in Michigan they might have opened a new office.
Michigan.
He's at, they're doing the Invitational right now at Gamescom. But we've been talking and I'm hoping to maybe see if we can do so. Either do a full PUBG one or do a profile on PlayerUnknown himself. Because we've already done one profile on John Romero and I want to do a second one. So even if we can do that, I'd love to squeeze that in. But yeah, it's right up there on my list of things to do.
You should do it.
That'd be fun. It'd be a really fun game.
You let us know how we can help one day and do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spam him.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't.
Everybody go there.
I've already got his ear. You can tell. But most, like 95% of people that I approach are like, okay, let's do it. And then you can tell the deafening silence when people aren't. And so there's only one project that I've been like trying real hard to nail down. Yeah. Which I haven't yet.
Okay, but you will. You're white whale.
I'm waiting.
All right.
I'm waiting.
Anything else you screwed up?
We'll get it. Anything else? What?
Did we screw up anything else?
That's
That it? Oh, nice. That's what I like to hear.
Boss Baby's a good movie, someone says.
Oh,
they're
fuck
wrong.
You. No. I mean, it might be. I just can't. Cool Greg, Boss Baby, yay or nay? Nay. Cool Greg says nay. He's cool, so it's what's come down to. Brand new segment debut. This one.
Ooh.
A respectful letter to Nintendo. This was submitted by Mr. Papa Giorgio. Fuck you, Nintendo! Along with many others, I have been eagerly awaiting pre-orders for the SNES Classic to hopefully avoid the BS that happened with the NES Classic. Why couldn't you just give us a date and time for pre-orders? Would that have been so hard? Like many others, I waited all month long to pre-order this damn thing, only to wake up one day and find it out a son of a bitch was already sold out everywhere. How the fuck am I supposed to get one when the damn pre-orders went around 4 a.m. my time? What in the actual fuck? Oh wait, if you could just have been like, hey, pre-orders go live at midnight on this day, at least we would have had an even playing field. Or hell, maybe Nintendo should learn something from Apple and sell the damn things themselves instead of selling the one item, having to ship times day of the week. At least when you would know that then you have one coming at some point. And for a product like this, that'd be fine with me. It would also allow Nintendo to make consoles based on their pre-orders, and they wouldn't have to worry about extra stock sitting around because they could just make the damn things to order. Fuck me! This is the same shit that happened last year, and I'm already pissed off about getting fucked again. Thanks a lot, Nintendo, you shitheads. Mr. Papa Giorgio.
There you go.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Kinda Funny Games daily, each and every weekday here on a variety of platforms. We run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about before giving you our in-depth analysis, perspective, and answering your questions. If you like that, you can get the show live as we record it on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. You can get it on youtube.com/kindafunnygames, and you can get it on podcast services around the globe. No matter where you get it, thank you for doing it. We love and appreciate your support. The show wouldn't happen without you. Make sure you go to kindafunny.com/KFGD. Leave your questions, your new segments, your respectful letters to Nintendo about their business practices. And no, until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.